Alright, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jackson.
I'm Katya.
I'm Danielle.
I'm Gord.
I'm Julia.
And we're here to tell you why hands-free cell phone usage should be promoted. So how many of you would pick up your phone in this situation?
Be honest.
Alright. Couple of
Okay.
guys.
Now, how many of you want to end up like that guy?
I didn't think so.
That's what I thought. Over 2.5 million people are involved in car accidents every year. The U.S. has 318.9 million people, population. Of these, 1.6 million have had a cell phone usage involved in the cause of the accident. That's 64% of all road accidents, including cell phone distraction. 1 in every 4 car accidents in the U.S. are caused by driving using a phone. As you can see in this pie graph, this gray part here resembles 94% of people who understand the risk of texting and driving and do it anyway. Over here, this yellow is the 35% that do it anyway. The 25 is the people who admitted to responding to at least one text every time the phone goes off in the car. This green here is the 20% of teens who admitted to having an entire conversation while operating a vehicle through text. And this blue is the 10% of adults that admitted to the same thing.
Alright, so people in their 20s have known to do this mostly. 26% are drivers that are involved in fatal crashes. 31% are distracted drivers. Distracted driving is basically looking at your phone, changing the music on your phone, even looking for navigation on your phone. It all revolves around being on your phone and being distracted from the road. And every time you're distracted, it's an average of 5 seconds that you're distracted from the road, and 5 seconds could be your life or could be other things as well. And then finally, 42% are distracted drivers due to cell phones. Also, there's multiple laws. There's 3 different laws. One is the handheld cell phone use ban, and 14 states have it prohibited. The other one's the all cell phone use ban, and 37 states have banned on teen drivers using cell phone at all. So any teen drivers cannot use cell phones at all, and 20 ban bus drivers from not using their cell phone. But none have all use cell phone. None of the 50 states have all use cell phone ban. And then the last one's text messaging ban, and 46 states, including Washington, D.C., ban text messaging while driving. And that's for all drivers. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're driving a bus, a car, a van, truck, doesn't matter. It's banned in 46 out of 50 states.
Alright. So, what are the benefits of using hands-free device? So first, it minimizes the risk of being distracted. So if you don't have a cell phone in your hand, your focus is on the road. So therefore, you're less likely to get into an accident. So there you go. It leads to a decrease in car accidents, as well as it helps you focus. It allows you to keep your eyes on the road, and it improves your mental alertness, which just means that you're more focused on the road instead of being on your phone and looking down and searching for it. Because, for instance, if someone calls you and you don't have your phone right next to you, so you have to reach down for it, you have to look down, you have to pick up the phone, you have to hold the phone to your ear. So now you have one hand on the wheel, which can often be, and you're not having full control of the steering wheel. And if you have to take a hard turn, that might be hard. And yeah, so there was a study that was conducted to see the contrast in receiving text and sending text between a handheld device and vehicle system, which is a hand-free system, between younger people and older people. So for the ones receiving the text, as you can see, it was they measured time. So it took about 10-15 seconds for younger people to receive a text and basically pick it up and read it, and older people had just about the same thing. Versus in car system or hand-free system, where it took just about half the time to receive a message. In comparison to sending a message, for younger people, it took about, we'll say 25 seconds to send a message, and it took a lot longer for older people, and I think that has to do with the fact that our generation has better handle on texting fast, so we're used to it, versus older people. So in comparison to hand-free, it took about 1/3 of the time to actually send a message and receive a message. As you can see for both of them, the older people had a better chance of sending messages as the younger people were using a hand-free device versus using a handheld device.
So we're going to talk about car models and how texting is using your phone while driving affects. So prior to 2008, it was primarily used for music because cell phones weren't as big as they are now. And only a certain amount of cars had them. Cars like BMW, Lexus, and Chrysler had built them. And as you can see, in 2007, before we had hands-free devices, there was over 6,000 accidents, and in 2008 it drastically decreased by almost 100 cars accidents. And as of 2016, all 12 major car manufacturers now offer Bluetooth hands-free calling systems in their cars. They also have more advancements such as apps that check traffic, do weather reports, and this isn't just a luxury, it's actually to help keep people safe, and it's so that people aren't looking down on their phone to check using GPS, or now they can just talk to the car and it will show up right there. You keep both eyes on the road and both hands on the wheel. And moving forward, they're coming up with even more things to help people and keep people safe. Things like vehicle-to-vehicle communication. It actually transmits your vehicle's location and recognizes other vehicles surrounding you. So you're not distracted looking around in mirrors and stuff. They'll be right in front of you, right there. And also they're making more apps to make people stop looking down and going and keep eyes on the road. So you can see the progress from 2008 where Bluetooth was used just for music to now. And the main purpose is just to keep drivers safe.
Yeah, maybe some of you have noticed the pictures and the slides and can now recognize them. There are pictures about unfinished texts or just crashed cars. And now I will tell you some stories behind the pictures. Where you at? Mariah West died at the age of 18, one day before her high school graduation. She was replying to a text message from a friend asking, where you at? While she was replying, her car hit a bridge, skidded on its roof and headed into oncoming traffic. She went to hospital but died some days later. Sounds good, my man. See you soon. I will TW ... This text looks unfinished? Yes, it is. Alex was in the middle of texting to a friend when his car screwed into oncoming traffic. He lost control of his vehicle and died. He was only 22 years old. Another story about a little girl. She was only 2 years old. She and her mom went to the playground and were walking home. They were hit by a car because the driver was picking up the phone. The little girl died instantly and her mother was in critical condition. I want to hear your beautiful voice. Emily got this text message from her boyfriend. She got distracted while she was reading the text and crashed into a tractor trailer. She was only 20 years old. I can't discuss it now. Driving and Facebooking is not safe. Haha. This quote is from the 18-year-old Taylor. She knew the fatal consequences, but she did it anyways. She slammed into a truck and was killed instantly. Yeah, as you can see and hear the stories, most of the people were young. And if you really need to call or text while you drive, then use hands-free. You can focus on the street and talk to your phone.
Each year, 330 accidents are caused by phone usage. That's 78% of accidents that are caused by getting distracted by a phone. Studies show that you are 6 times more likely to get into an accident from texting and driving than you are drinking and driving. And the chances of a crash increase by 23% when you are texting. Each day, 11 teenagers die from a texting and driving car accident. As Jackson mentioned earlier, it takes 5 seconds to look down at your phone. As Danielle mentioned earlier, by minimizing the distraction, we can minimize the amount of car accidents that are caused by the distraction of phones each year. And as Corey mentioned earlier, there was an increase from 2007 to 2008, a decrease in car accidents when hands-free was offered. We can only imagine the decrease now all these years later. And as Julia mentioned, all of those people that she mentioned in those stories were under 28 years old. Earlier we asked you all how many of you would pick up your phone. 10 out of the 15 of you raised your hand yes. That means 10 out of the 15 of you had a chance to become like that guy in the first video. If you had not picked up your phone, you wouldn't have been a part of that statistic. So all we ask is that if you need to use your phone, put down the phone and use a hands-free device. I hope those last things at the end. Oh my